Dog Central. On a Friday afternoon, I am Graham Coffey. My face will appear on the screen momentarily, I am sure. That's Josh Hancher. This is John Smith. We're here to do a little Friday pick show. Look at some lines, look at some prize picks. If you didn't know, you can use these prize picks yourself and go get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Just go sign up for a new account and use code Dog Central with your first deposit. Why wouldn't you do it, right? I mean, we all know Haynes King's not throwing for 290 passing yards tomorrow.
Free money, guys. Free money.
Free money. Yeah. While Josh gets us straight here, you got it.
There we go.
There's our faces.
Beautiful.
Bam. All right.
Happy
so
Friday.
in all fairness
Happy Friday
Josh,
to producer Josh.
Yeah, we kind of sped up his clock here. My fault, not anybody
No one's
else's.
fault. This would be great on podcast, though.
Play like a champion, no excuses. Rule number 77. John, I know you have a hard out at 145, so
yeah,
unload that clip, baby. Tell us what you're seeing on the board this week.
Let's do it. All right, I have 6 picks against the spread and 4 prize picks that I'm going to hit you with. All right, first one, UCF -5.5 versus Louisville. It's a Friday night. I got it at -109. I'm excited about this game for a number of reasons. Last week, Louisville gave up 449 yards of offense and 31 points while scoring just 7 versus Syracuse. Malik Cunningham threw 2 picks. It was South Carolina State, but UCF had 600 yards of offense. John Reese Plumlee accounted for 408 of those yards alone, with 308 passing and 100 rushing. I see this being – I do think Louisville is probably going to score some points this game, but I see UCF. If you look at what Garrett Schrader did, which I'll talk about my prize pick in a minute, if you look at what Garrett Schrader did to Louisville last week, Garrett Schrader is a poor man's John Reese Plumlee, in my opinion. And I think UCF is going to have similar success against Louisville tonight. So UCF -5.5. I like that pick this week.
I so desperately want to join you on that.
It's
it feels too obvious, you know what I mean? I keep being like, somebody knows something I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it feels very obvious. Listen, I'm going to go with the obvious. I'm 7-3 against the spread this year, and so we're gonna try to keep this this hot streak going. The second one, this one, I'll just be honest, this one gives me a little bit of pause. The next 2 actually give me a little bit of pause, but I'm going with it because scared money don't make money, as someone said one time. And then it was appropriated by a coach at Florida. So Arkansas -8.5 versus South Carolina. South Carolina gave up 200 yards rushing to Georgia State at home. That game was 12-7 at halftime or something. Arkansas played a defense last week in Cincinnati that I think is a good bit better than South Carolina's defense. And so for me, I think 8.5 it's a little steep because this does feel like a Shane Beamer kind of, Shane Beamer, Spencer Rattler motivational type of game with something weird happening in Fayetteville. But I have to ride with Arkansas just based on what I saw them do to Cincinnati at home last week. I also think with this game being in Fayetteville, that gives Arkansas another little boost. So I'm going to ride with that.
So I actually also have a play for this game. You don't have to throw my graphic up, Josh, but so the total yards in that South Carolina-Georgia State game, South Carolina got outgained 311 to 306. They only rushed for 79 yards. I don't care. I think that the Arkansas having Catalan, and they got a couple guys out in the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw Cincinnati throw the ball pretty well on them after those guys went out. If they were playing, I would probably be joining you on the 8.5. But I'm going to join you on not join you, but I'm going to take over 53 points in that game.
Perfect.
Feels like a low total. So getting in on the action in Fayetteville.
Love it. All right. So I'm at -8.5. Graham is taking the over. Those are two plays for you there. You can decide which one you want to play. I think I'm excited to see that game personally. I think it's going to be a really good game. Then the next game I think is going to be really good too. And this is a game that, normally I would probably try to stay away from for a number of reasons, but I'm going to take Kentucky to cover the 6.5. I got it at -110 for two reasons. One, last week Utah had -0.88 net yards per play and still managed to put up 26 points on Florida. Florida, even with what Anthony Richardson was doing, only managed 29 points in that game. I think that was a game that Utah had 230 yards rushing. I think Mark Stoops and team will have a good game plan for Anthony Richardson. I don't like Kentucky to win the game outright, but I do like it to be a 3-point game. Kind of probably a similar vibe to what we felt from Florida and Utah last week. So I'm going to go with Kentucky.
Yeah. I've been asking myself all week, what do I think that spread would be if Utah scores that final touchdown on the goal line and wins that game? And I think it's probably different. The 4 sacks that Kentucky gave up to Miami of Ohio does scare me a little bit, but I think maybe Will Levis runs this week was when he did not last week.
Yeah. I agree. I also think that, Kentucky, their depth at running back makes me a little bit nervous this week, but I do think Will Levis, I think he's going to air it out. I think they're going to be forced to throw it around, and he probably will get sacked a few times, but I also think he's probably going to get enough plays to actually put up enough points to keep it within a touchdown game. So that's my pick for Kentucky, Florida. All right, next one, Georgia Southern and Nebraska. Oh my gosh. If y'all don't know what Clay Helton has Georgia Southern doing down there, last week Georgia Southern ran 78 total plays, had a 2.29 net yards per play. They threw the ball 46 times. In 2013, Georgia Southern beat Florida and didn't complete a pass. And in 2022, Clay Helton has them throwing the ball almost 50 times. It's amazing. So a big evolution at Georgia Southern. 23.5 is a lot of points for Nebraska. I mean, I think for me, this is more about what Nebraska has been under Scott Frost. I can't remember the last time Nebraska beat a team by 23.5 points. They beat North Dakota by 21 last week and had to do it later in the game. So I think Georgia Southern, with that air raid offense, I think they're going to be able to keep the ball. And I don't know that they're going to score a ton of points on Nebraska, but I also don't think Nebraska is going to score a ton on Georgia Southern either. I think this will be a kind of a possession type game, and I see Georgia Southern hanging around and covering the 23.5.
Yeah, Northwestern in 2021 was the 102nd best passing offense in college football at 187.5 yards a game. How do you get right? You start the season against Nebraska, throw for 314. They made Ryan Helinski look like a good quarterback, which maybe he is now. Maybe something's clicked, but he could not beat out Hunter Johnson for that job last year. So
correct.
I'm not sure yet about him, but I do know that Nebraska's secondary just let slow dudes run free in the open all day over in Ireland. And I think if you're going to throw the ball 40, 50 times against them, you're just going to have some coverage busts. And I don't know what Georgia Southern's defense is or isn't. I think they'll give up a lot as well, but 24 is a lot of points, 23.5, whatever it is now. Dude, Nebraska was they were tied 7-7 with North Dakota last week. So I think that Georgia Southern can keep this within spitting distance.
Agree. I think it's a good play for Georgia Southern at 23.5. All right, next one, Kansas State versus Mizzou. I am taking there's a typo on the graphic. This is a big typo. Apologies, guys. I'll get this changed. I'm taking the under 56.5, not the over 56.5. Big one. Yeah, it's all right. I made the graphic and sent it to Josh, so that's my fault. But we're going to take the under 56.5, Kansas State and Mizzou. Missouri had 323 rushing yards versus Louisiana Tech last week. Adrian Martinez and Deuce Vaughn are going to try to run for a lot of yards for Kansas State this week. I think it's going to be two teams trying to control possession, and I like Missouri to have some success throwing the ball. I don't necessarily love Kansas State having success throwing the ball, and so I think they're going to be in a little bit of a war of attrition there. Kansas State versus Mizzou, so I'm going to take the under 56.5.
I'm also playing this game. Missouri outrushed Louisiana Tech 323-8 last weekend. Last Thursday night, actually. I watched that Missouri D-line come into Athens late last year and basically shut down UGA's interior rushing game, and they did not have an answer for it. If they were playing a team with a good passing game, I would be worried. Adrian Martinez does not worry me. Give me Mizzou plus 7.5 and hit that money line at plus 250. Put a little sprinkle on there. Alpha Nerd Eli Drinkwitz goes into Manhattan, comes out with a win.
Eli might be in a costume at the end of this game. You just never know. You got to be careful.
He may dress up like Darth Vader.
Who knows? Yeah, this is a good one. There's a lot of value on this game, I think, with the way that the lines are set. So if you take Mizzou, I would take the Mizzou money line as well. All right, last pick against the spread that I have. Man, this one is interesting, right? App State going to College Station. It's interesting because App State's defense cannot stop anyone. App State last week, if Nick Saban was a coach of North Carolina, you would have heard Nick Saban say they ran through us like shit through a tin horn and we could not stop them. That's what North Carolina did to App State last week.
True.
I don't think that performance is going to happen twice in a row for App State. And I think App State is a program that they have good athletes. I think they have good coaches. I think they've proven that they can show up in hostile environments and play well. And so I'm going to take App State. I'm going to take the 18.5. And last week, Texas A&M, they turned the ball over twice. They couldn't establish a run game versus Sam Houston State. I don't trust Haynes King yet to protect the ball. I personally don't know that Haynes King is going to be the starting quarterback at Texas A&M by the time we get to the middle of the season. And so I also don't trust App State's defense, but I do trust Chase Bryce more than, probably any player on the field to be able to put up points. And so I think it's probably lower scoring than people think, but give me App State to cover the 18.5 at College Station. That's a big one. So
yeah,
I'm on that one as well. 43% success rate on offense. That's not going to get it done for Texas A&M. I believe App State can certainly keep that game close. App State was running up 8 yards of play on offense versus North Carolina. That game was a little bit of an outlier, but still, I think that they've got enough offense to keep it to cover that spread. But A&M will win that game.
Yeah. So Haynes King. I'm just going back and looking. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Hang on. My fucking phone.
Easy. Haynes King, career high passing yards was 292.
Yep.
Against Kent State last year, but he also had 3 interceptions in that game. I think that what App State does on defense is better than what A&M does on or better than what Kent State would have done on defense. So I am not betting this game, but I did go into the prize picks category and pick Haynes King under 290.5 passing yards.
That's a good pick.
I like that one.
That's a good pick. All right. I'll give you my prize picks real quick. For those of you who don't play prize picks, you should. We have a promo code, Dogs Central, all one word, and prize picks will match your deposit 100% up to $100. So if you deposit $100, they give you an additional $100 to play with. Prize picks is legal in the state of Georgia. I think that's worth noting. Prize picks, the way it works is you can do power plays or you can do flex plays. So power play means you bet 2 or more players and all of them have to hit for you to win, and the multiplier is bigger. A flex play means that you just have to have 3 out of 4 or 3 out of 5 or 2 out of 3, for example, of your plays hit. So this week I'm playing a flex play with 4 players on Prize Picks. I'm going with John Reese Plumlee to rush for more than 59.5 yards. Louisville allowed 94 rushing yards to Garrett Schrader. John Reese Plumlee rushed for 100 last week, which was his 8th career game with 100-plus yards rushing as a QB, going back to his Ole Miss days. I like John Reese Plumlee to run for more than 59.5. I like KJ Jefferson to pass and rush for more than 261.5. Last week, KJ Jefferson had 286 all-purpose yards versus Cincinnati. And again, as I said earlier, I think Cincinnati's defense is better than South Carolina. So I see KJ Jefferson going for more than 261.5. Ryan Helinski. All right, I'm going to ride the Ryan Helinski train. My prize pick week 0 was Ryan Helinski to throw for more than, I think it was 190 something passing yards, and he threw for 314. So I'm going to go back to the well. This is the one, this pick is what makes it a flex play for me this week and not a power play because I'm not sure which Ryan Helinski we're going to get, but I'm going to go for 234.5 passing yards for him to hit the over there. And then the last one is Will Levis for more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Levis had three passing TDs last week. Cam Rising probably should have had 3 passing TDs versus Florida. With Kentucky's depth at running back being an issue this week, I think they're going to have to air it out a little bit. So I like Will Levis to throw for 2 passing touchdowns. Those are
I like it.
My prize picks.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff.
All right. I'm going to hang with y'all until I have to drop, and y'all can go ahead and start talking your picks.
Well, Josh, do you have anything that you want to throw out right now, or
no? They come for you, Graham. I'll clean it up. So I've got some stuff. I'm ready to go. But
okay.
I'm going to defer to.
While we're on the topic of prize picks, I did like a power play this week. So this is.
I'll do my prize picks after yours. I'll do your prize. I'm ready for that. So go ahead. Continue on with your prize picks.
Perfect. If all 3 of these hit, I bet $20 I'll win 100. So we got the aforementioned Haynes King under 290.5 passing yards. Drake May over 299.5 pass yards against Georgia State. Drake May is the truth. I think it happens. I also don't really think UNC can run the ball. So all the more reason he's going to have to throw it. And then Xavier Worthy for Texas, over 4 catches. Just has to receive the ball 4 times. I think they have to use him on screens in this game. I'm critical of Steve Sarkisian a lot, but one thing I will give him credit for is he does know how to scheme the ball into a player's hands and run an offense through a wide receiver, especially with Isaiah Nair going down before the season. I think makes the impetus all more on Worthy. So let's hit that. Come and join me. 100% deposit match.
Those are good picks. That Xavier Worthy one, I don't think Texas is going to be able to run the ball. I think Alabama is definitely going to try to take Bijan Robinson out of the game. So those are all 3 good ones.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've got 3. I got 3 names or 3 plays. Let me see if I can do this and talk at the same time. I went and dug down into the PFF stuff and found some volume plays. Michael Tinsley 16 targets and a PFF grade of 79 for Penn State. I've got him over 89.5 rushing yards. Let me see which one here. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Wrong. There we go. I don't know if you can see that.
Nice.
We got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is that? Let me see here. Let's go full frame with my screen here. Program. Okay. Then Bryce Wheaton plus 5 catches. West Virginia wide receiver. I think that they're going to come out firing, and as JT Daniels tries to get a win. And I don't think they brought him in to hand the ball off. And I think I like the volume play. He had a high PFF grade as well last week. Ford Wheaton had 16 targets and a 79 also PFF grade. So I'm going to take him at 89.5 over that 89.5 receiving yards. And UCLA's Zach Charbonneau, who is that? Zach Charbonneau also had 21 attempts, and I've got him over 121.5 total yards rushing and receiving. So I'm going to dig down and find some more. Let's see if I can pull this up. No, that's not that one. There we go. There's Zach. Yeah. And then, so these are all the plays on Prize Picks too. And I kind of like, for all of my picks, I kind of like them all. I like 105 rushing yards over that, and obviously I'm on the rushing receiving combined, and then the fantasy score I like all of that. And then let me see here, and then Michael Tinsley again, 6.5 receptions. I like that play a lot. And then the last one is that's Zach. There we go. There's Bryce Ford Wheaton. And he was all over the field. If you watch that game, that was his go-to guy. And then again, 5 receptions. I'd hit that for sure. So those are my Prize Picks. And hey, look, that's what it looks like when you get on your phone and you select your players and stuff. So I have not
so easy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Easy. The app is great. It's super easy to put money in there, and and
it's 100% legal.
100% legal. Yeah. It's PayPal, Apple Pay, all that stuff. No Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything like that. So
make things nice and easy. We actually, John and I drove past the Prize Picks offices on the way to our broadcast on Saturday morning in Atlanta. So go and support a local Georgia company.
Nice. Okay, Graham.
All right. It's time to go sicko mode, boys.
I hope you have your ESPN Plus subscription, people.
Yeah. If you don't have, Pac-12 network alternate on your feed, you're going to want to get it before tomorrow afternoon, because we've got some absolutely disgusting plays that we're going for here. But where there's an edge, there's an edge. Doesn't mean I have to watch this game in its entirety, but I can still make money on it. All right, Vandy and Wake. Vandy had their nice little trip out to the islands. They're kind of, the bowl game, because they're not going to a bowl game. Now we are back in the U.S. They faced Elon last week. They got a win, 42-31. They also gave up 31 points to Elon. I don't think that's a good sign. Wake Forest comes in. Sam Hartman back off of the blood clot issues. So give me Wake Forest -7 first half line. This was the full game line was at 7. Then when Hartman's return was announced, it bumped up to 11.5, 12.5. I think they win by that much, but I don't know. Weird stuff happens in garbage time at the end of games. I think that Wake is going to come out and they're going to be pretty good on defense, and I think they're going to be very, very good on offense, and Vanderbilt's not going to be stopping them. So I think they'll be up by 7 or more at halftime. Another battle between two academic institutions of great prestige. Duke on the road at Northwestern. Give me the Blue Devils +10.5. My logic here is really, it's quite simple, Josh. We started overvaluing Northwestern, we as a society, not you and I, because they beat Nebraska. Then Nebraska struggled with FCS North Dakota. Duke shut out Temple 30-0 last week. Our old friend DeJuan Mathis. I think Mike Elko is a really good defensive coach, and he'll have a good plan for Ryan Helinski. Helinski is not a quarterback that's going to hurt you with his legs, really. I just think it sets up well. So give me Duke plus 10.5. And I also sprinkled a little bit on the money line plus 320 there because I think there's a very good shot Duke goes up there and wins outright.
Yeah, Northwestern is just sitting there at 42, almost 43% offensive success rate and allowing 6 yards of play. So, yeah, I like that pick.
Yeah. And Northwestern in that Nebraska game, I mean, in the fourth quarter of that game, like they ran the ball 3 and out over and over and just basically like waited for Nebraska to give them the game, and they did. So, yeah, I think Duke will not do anything on defense to beat themselves.
That hook is nice.
It is. Yeah, for sure. I agree with you there. Iowa State, Iowa. Oh, man, this is going to be a terrible football game. El Assico, as the old SB Nation folks deemed it back in the day. I really liked what Iowa State did against Bobby Petrino's Southeast Missouri team last weekend. I think they may have upgraded from Brock Purdy. Everyone talked about Brock Purdy for years, but he really was kind of a middling quarterback that had a lot of potential that was always unfulfilled. Hunter Dekers, new guy under center in Ames, 25 of 31 for 293, 4 touchdowns and interception last weekend. Iowa, they scored a field goal on offense total. They had 2 safeties and a field goal to win their game 7-3 against, oh my God, what was the terrible team they were playing? I don't even remember. Let's see real quick. South Dakota State. All right, the Jackrabbits we have a little respect for on this show, but still 7-3 at home. Brian Ferentz is the offensive coordinator. Still, you might notice that he shares a last name with the head coach, Kirk Ferentz. There's a terrible nepotism situation happening in Des Moines. And I'm sorry, Iowa City, not Des Moines. Anyways, either way, this is not getting better. And Iowa has a very good defense, but I think that Iowa State can just not beat themselves. Yeah. Working against me is the fact that Iowa State, I forget the coach's name, but, you know, the one that everyone loves, Matt Campbell. He is 0-5 against Iowa since taking over, so we got that going for us, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to lean on the team that is not producing 25.9% offensive success rate, and that would be Iowa, and they did not score an offensive touchdown last week. So, yeah.
Cool. Disgusting. Make sure you shower after watching this game. South Alabama at Central Michigan, a nice 2 p.m. Eastern kickoff. Okay. South Alabama put up 3.86 net yards per play against Nicholls State last Saturday in a 48-7 win. Nicholls is usually a pretty good FCS team. Georgia fans, you remember it was week 2 of 2016 when the Colonels came into town and made things very, very hairy for 4 quarters. Anyways, I think Central Michigan's value got inflated because people looked at the score to the Oklahoma State game last week and saw a 58-44 loss. But they were down over 30 points in that game. And then Oklahoma State pulled their starters. Central Michigan had a big rally. I like South Alabama's defensive line a lot. I'm on South Alabama +5 and money line +78 to win. Whatever your flavor is, if you feel more comfortable giving the points, give them. But I like the +178. I think we have a nice edge here, so we're going to take it. Missouri, we already talked about. I like them to go up there to Manhattan and win this game. UAB at Liberty.
I like this one a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, well, emotionally, I think not everyone, but a lot of people enjoy pulling against Hugh Freeze and Liberty. But for football reasons, we're taking this line. Liberty escaped Hattiesburg. That's where Southern Miss is, with a 29-27 overtime win, despite an offensive success rate of just 28.9%. Absolutely disgusting. And they lost the net yards per play battle. Liberty hung 56 on Southern Miss the year before. So they go from 56 to 29 points in an overtime win. That's not great.
Even breaking in a new quarterback, I mean, that was not a good performance.
Yeah, and the quarterback they're breaking in is replacing Malik Willis, who is in the NFL now. UAB beat Liberty 34-0 last year. I'm sorry, beat Southern Miss 34-0 last year. Just some context, I guess. Liberty lost an NFL quarterback. UAB has built this consistent program with a strong culture. Liberty's culture is managed by Hugh Freeze. I get to bet against all of these factors at under a touchdown. That's a gift from Vegas. We're going to take it. Give me the Blazers -6. What did you like about this game, Josh?
You mentioned it, just how
success rate.
How poorly that offense played, and I think UAB is one of those teams that if you follow college football more than just the top 25, that's a good program and a good team.
Yeah, they are, and I think normally, if you look at them historically, they kind of run a lot of basic stuff in their out of conference and save their the meat of their playbook for conference play. This is a conference game for them, so I don't have concerns about that.
I mean, if you look at our little chart, that if it's probably coming through at any time, it's like, is it up right now? No.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 7.5 yards per play offense, and they allowed a 28% defensive success rate. I mean, they played really, really well, and if you're telling me that was not their full playbook, they're going to be ready and they'll be hungry. I like this a lot for them to cover and drub the Liberty. What are they? The Eagles?
The Flames.
The Flames. Yeah, right.
Yes. All right. Eastern Michigan versus Louisiana Lafayette. Another absolutely disgusting game. Sometimes I look. All right. Louisiana played Southeast Louisiana last week, a school that, is that the school from the Water Boy? I'm not sure. I think it might be, but they only won 24-7. Eastern Michigan played the Colonels of Eastern Kentucky. They won by a decent margin, but they did get outgained by 100 yards. I don't really care. I think Louisiana Lafayette is bad. I don't think they should be favored by 11.5 against anybody. I'm taking Eastern Michigan and the points. Eastern Michigan are the Eagles. So let's do it. Eagles on the road in Lafayette, handing out butt whippings. USC at Stanford, primetime game, kind of the national debut of everyone's favorite darling, Lincoln Riley. 86%, you're going to like this stat, Josh. I got a feeling you're going to like this. 86% of the against the spread tickets on this game are on USC, but 64% of the money is on Stanford. What does that tell us? It tells us the sharps are on the Cardinal. I think USC has been overvalued and overhyped all offseason. Stanford is always solid on the line of scrimmage. USC's offensive line is a massive question mark. Their right tackle, the starting right tackle in this game for USC, had a PFF blocking grade of 36.9 in 2021. Which college quarterback had the longest average time to throw in 2021? That's right, Caleb Williams at over 4 seconds average time to throw. I think Stanford is going to harass Caleb Williams. I don't think the USC defense will be quite ready for this type of game yet, where they got to get dirty in the trenches. What do we know about Lincoln Riley's programs historically? If you make them play a 4-quarter battle in the trenches, they will fold like a wet paper towel. I think that they're going to bully the Trojans around. I'm not sure they're going to win outright, but +8, I feel comfortable with. So I'm taking Stanford.
I'm on the other side of that, to be honest. So,
yeah, Josh.
I'm on the other side of that. I mean, I'm on the over for their win total, and I just I'm gonna believe in the Lincoln Riley offense can outscore everybody in the Pac-12 until someone shows me they can't. I mean, they effortlessly put up 9.5 yards a play offensively, and they're not going to need that. And Stanford had a good game offensively too. It's almost they mirror each other's stats there, but USC did have a 65% success rate on offense. It's not bad for the first game in a new system and a new team. So I'm on the other side of that, but we'll see. We'll see. Your points are valid and give me pause, but I'm gonna stay on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The other thing about that Rice game last week is Rice might be the worst team in Division I this year. I mean, them and New Mexico State are going to battle it out, and a couple others,
UMass, yeah.
But that score was a little bit inflated by 3 pick sixes. I mean, Rice threw 3 pick sixes to USC last week, so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I'm on the other side of Florida too, for John too. I'm thinking Florida's going to.
I'm not touching that game. I think Florida's going to win that game. But
I think Florida's going to win handily. I would, I definitely under a touchdown. I'm definitely liking Florida there. I can see that as a 10, 13, 14 point win there for almost said Urban for Billy Napier.
Yeah, I mean the other side though is like, I don't know, man. Kentucky.
They did not look good.
They didn't look good, but like they might be. I don't know. I feel like they might be sandbagging it a little bit. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's the best game in the SEC this week, I think.
Yeah, probably. Well, South Carolina, Arkansas is a good game as well. But I agree with you. It's a top 25 matchup. UNC versus Georgia State. I already told you Georgia State outgained South Carolina, held South Carolina to 79 yards. USC was, Georgia State had a net yards per play advantage against South Carolina, all of that stuff. But still, at the end of the day, I don't think Georgia State can score enough to keep up with UNC.
I would.
Their quarterback was like 9 for 23 passing on Saturday.
Yeah. I was going to say this might be the lock of the week. If it were at 6.5, I would definitely make it It
was 7.5, and I caught it at 7, so I was happy with that.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it at -7. Exactly. I mean, I think that North Carolina is going to blow the doors off them. I mean, I just think that game could get out of hand ugly because I mean, as questionable as the UNC defense is, that offense is not questionable, and Georgia
State's offense is
dicey,
very questionable,
very questionable. So,
yeah, I'm glad that we see eye to eye on that one. Oregon State versus Fresno State. Josh, you sent me a list of your super secret probation, extra special,
just opponent. It's a crude
opponent adjusting net yard per play.
Yeah, it's a crude adjustment, but yes, we like it.
Oregon State came in 4th in the country behind Georgia, Alabama, and SMU in that order in opponent adjusted yards per play. I love Jake Hader. He is a man crush of mine from Fresno State, but I thought what Oregon State did last week to be Boise State was impressive. I thought that they bullied them around on both lines of scrimmage. I think there will be a lot of points scored in this game, more than likely. But I think Oregon State has kind of become like this fun team that a lot of people aren't aware of, that kind of quietly –
we got one friend that's definitely aware of.
It's all right. That's not a us problem. That's a him problem. But yeah, I'm taking Oregon State -1. I think it's
it's an interesting road game too.
It is an interesting road game. But Kalen DeBoer is now at Washington as well, so that gave me some pause. I think that the Beavs are gonna have a nice evening on the road in the San Bernardino Valley. Beautiful place if you've never been. South Carolina at Arkansas over 53. We already talked about. And then here is a game that I'm very fascinated to get your take on, Josh. Those net yards per play, opponent adjusted that we were talking about. BYU came in 6th from last week, and now they get Baylor at home -3. I love both these programs, admittedly. I love Dave Aranda. I really like Kalani Sitake. I think Jeff Grimes at Baylor, he came from BYU. He's a really good coordinator. These staffs have intermingled a lot. Jaron Hall is a good quarterback. Blake Shapen is a good quarterback for Baylor. Like, this is going to be a very fun late night game. I encourage you to stay up and watch it. Extreme, there's also just like Baptist versus Mormons action here happening in the high desert outside of Salt Lake. Thick plot lines, type of intersectional matchup that we love. But I keep coming back to BYU -3.
Yeah, I looked at this game as I'm gonna pick all of these for the tally site thing. And, yeah, and I'll probably I am gonna be on my I'm gonna take the home late. I certainly wish it would go to 2.5, but I mean, and both teams, they kind of mirror each other. They both put up 50. I mean, like Baylor put up 69 points against nobody and stuff, and that's why that opponent adjusted, dropped them way down, and BYU had put up 50. Who they play? I think it was a good team, right?
They played South Florida.
Yeah. So I mean, I like
on the road too.
Yeah, I like them getting home, and I like they're playing at altitude. BYU did everything. They 32% success rate allowed on defense and over 50 on offense, 8 yards per play on offense, and allowed under 5. Certainly Baylor had that, good stats there too. But I just like the home being at home, and I like that Baylor did play good defense, but I think BYU. Okay, you're taking the point. I don't know what the over is on that, but I kind of like the under if it's in the high 40s or low 50s there. But yeah, I'm with you. I like that pick. It's a good game too. It's certainly down in the South, probably being overlooked, but it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that cleans you up?
That cleans me up. But we have not talked about Tennessee Pitt or Alabama Texas.
I want one game. Let me pick your brain on this. Navy +5 versus Memphis. I got Navy.
Oh man,
I got.
Are they +5 or -5?
I've got +5. Let me check. But
pretty sure Navy's favored in that game.
Is that right?
I think so. I could be wrong. Let me see.
I've got it as Memphis at Navy. Memphis -5 is what I have. I hope.
Let me see what sports books are saying.
Anyway, I'll go into it. Memphis.
Memphis is favored by 5. You were correct.
Okay. Both teams did not get a win last week, but Navy still kind of a bad offense at 37% success rate allowed, but Memphis was not very good on defense at all. 57% success rate and a 38% success rate in the game. They probably didn't have to do a lot in the second half. They could, and then we talk about that opponent adjusted. Navy actually crept over that, in the positive territory by just a thousandth of a point. They only allowed 3 yards per play defensively. So give me the points at home, and Navy kind of keeps this game close and ugly. It's not gonna be a pretty game, but I like Navy +5.
It'll be a short game. Triple option football.
Yeah.
Cut down on possessions.
You say so. Tennessee is I have it at
-6-point favorite.
6-point favorite. Okay.
On the road at Pitt. I've gone back and forth on this game a lot. That's why I didn't put it on my sheet. But because there's part of me that doesn't think West Virginia is any good. I came very close to putting Kansas +13.5 on that sheet. And if it goes to 14, I'm gonna bet it, because I think that Kansas is going to go on the road to West Virginia and at least just make things annoying for a while.
I just need a lot of passes to Ford Wheaton is all I really ask.
Well,
that's what Price pitched.
I hear you. On that. That's fair enough.
Back to Tennessee, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I guess just with Tennessee Pitt, Pittsburgh's defense did not look good last week. We don't know what Tennessee's defense is yet because they played Ball State and they're, hot trash. So the other kind of underrated storyline here is that Pittsburgh's coaching staff this will be the 4th year in a row they've faced Hendon Hooker going back to when he was at Virginia Tech. and I think they're 3-0 against him now. I am inclined to leave. Like, I'm inclined to think, okay, Tennessee's defense can't be worse than it was last year. Pittsburgh lost Kenny Pickett. That was a 3-point game. It was close. Could have gone either way. Like, this swings things in Tennessee's favor, right? But what do you have the net yard per play breakdown on that one?
Let's see.
Pittsburgh
Tennessee was
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Tennessee was gross 1.7. If you adjust it, it's for opponent, it basically zeroes it out. Pittsburgh had a 0.6 net versus West Virginia, adjusted that out 0.4. So I mean, there's not enough data points to really lean on that because that would tell us that raw numbers and adjusted that maybe Pittsburgh's a better team, which that's not the case. I don't think either of us would agree with that. They were not good on offense, 40% success rate versus West Virginia, and they allowed 39%. I mean, it's just like they were kind of a neutral team there, and I think Tennessee can just. I think Tennessee is going to win this game pretty easily. I think they definitely have this circled from last year. They're on a mission this year, if you want to believe that narrative, which I think they are. I mean, they've got high expectations to compete or win the SEC East, and whoa. Well, I mean, that's what their expectations are. I mean, we know where we stand on that. We both got Georgia. We got both. I think 12-0 is what I have Georgia at. So, but that said, I think Tennessee is a much better team. I know 6 points is a lot on the road, but under a touchdown, I think is a good line. So I would lay the points there.
Okay, well, there you go. You heard it there from the man himself. That's what I've been leaning, but I don't know, man. Doesn't it just feel like a game that Tennessee would go and shit the bed in and just like, absolutely piss down their leg and ruin all of this, like, feels like 98 offseason hype? It does, doesn't it?
I mean, if you're saying this is not a competent coaching staff and it's the same thing, as the last two staffs, for sure, but I don't believe that.
I'm not saying that, but I am saying that, like, they run a gimmicky offense that
Pitt can solve.
Based. Well, that Pitt saw a year ago. And, they won't get 3 free touchdowns on, uncovered receivers because the defensive back is looking at the sideline for a signal.
Yeah, I mean, like, Pitt got lucky to win that game last week. Again, you talked about what if Florida had had given up the game there late in the fourth, what that line would be. Kind of the same thing. What would this line be if that ball doesn't go through his hands and JT goes down and kicks a field goal, you know what I mean? Or not JT, but West Virginia kicks a field goal. What is that line there? So I just think, I think that line is lower than it really would be. And so I think Tennessee's.
Is it that, or I hear that logic, but I'm also like, or just does Vegas think that Tennessee, despite all of the offseason hype, was a 7-6 team last year? That really is erratic, and good defensive line play is the thing that solves that Tennessee offense, right? Like, that's what we learned last season, in my opinion, at least. And Pitt's defensive line was dominant against West Virginia. I'm just struggling with it. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No.
Because, like I said, I mean, like, I lean Tennessee -6, but these are all the reasons why it's not on my sheet.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see you don't believe. No, I think it just boils down to you don't believe in that offense, right? I mean, is that your biggest hangup? Is it? I
think it's a gimmick. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just looking at my power rate. I mean, if you guys follow me on Twitter, if you're on the forum, I drop a little power rating, which basically is you just take the Vegas win totals and then take the juice, which gives you an implied odds. So that just gives you kind of a baseline of how many wins you think that Vegas thinks this team is likely to get. Then I add in the 247 composite. You get a boost from that depending on what 247 has your overall talent. And then what else do I put in there? And then I have not sprinkled in the net yards per play yet because not enough data points. So, but Tennessee's high. All that to say is Tennessee is is number 8 in that metric, in that little power rating of mine. And so that tells me that Vegas thinks they're a better team, that 247 says they're a better team, and those people are smarter than me. And so West Virginia is 56 in that power rating. So I think that tells me that Tennessee is at least a touchdown better, even on the road. So, and where they're also, the other metric that's key in there is it rates what conference you're in. So if you're projected to win 7, your win total is 7.5 in the SEC, that is not the same 7.5 that it would be in the Big 12. And I've got the Big 12 as the 3rd best conference behind, or 4th best, because I got Big 10 and SEC tied. And then I actually have the ACC number 2, and then and Big 12 behind that. So I'm toying around watching how this week's games go, and I'm rating that on your total wins as a conference and also your total covers against the spread, and sort of giving you a value for your overall conference play. So, I mean, they're probably close to the ACC. I'm sorry, I'm talking Big 12, like they're in the Big 12. This is Pittsburgh in the ACC. So yeah, so they're actually, and yeah, Pittsburgh's getting a boost. And I don't know why I said West Virginia is 56, because it's Pittsburgh. Let me find Pittsburgh. I'm still thinking of last week. But sorry, Graham.
You're good.
Yeah. Okay. No. All right. We'll rewind just a little bit. Pittsburgh is the 15th in that metric. So that changes things. Yeah. That gives definitely their 8.5 win total. And implied odds of 55% of getting to 9 wins for Pittsburgh. So, does change the dynamic a little bit. But if you want to break down of the West Virginia Tennessee matchup, we just did that. So you can
West Virginia Pittsburgh.
No, I was laughing that.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So So that rating is Pittsburgh pretty high, closer than I would have thought too. So this would be a good test of that metric. 15 versus number 8. What's that?
Yeah.
But there's a big, and also if you looked at that rating too, the difference between 3 and 4 and 4 and 15 is pretty close. I mean, as anyone would agree that there's clear three. The 3 best teams are Ohio State, Alabama, and Georgia in some order, and then it falls off from there. So that metric falls in there with all that sort of stuff. So,
gotcha. All right. Last but not least, Alabama, Texas. What are your thoughts?
What is it, 20?
It's 20, over under a 65.5. So I think I like Bama, but the thing that gives me pause, I know that Texas wasn't, they were playing ULM, but they had 23 pressures last week as a defensive line, which is a lot. And that Bama offensive line is suspect, dude. Bryce Young ran for over 100 yards against Utah State. You telling me Nick Saban's got him out there design runs against Utah State? No. He's running for 100 yards because he's getting flushed because their offensive line is hot trash. So I think that 20 is a lot to give in that scenario. I also do I trust a 18-year-old playing his second game of college football that's going to have to face Will Anderson and Dallas Turner down after down? I don't. I do think Bama's corners are very talented, but still somewhat unproven in certain spots. I think that Bama probably just blows them out and holds down Ewers and that crew. But I actually think the better play here is under 65.5 because it kind of accounts for that. It accounts for Bama's offensive line if it has trouble, which I think it could. And it also I think if this game, I think if Bama does blow them out and start scoring a bunch, I don't think Texas can keep up with them and score into the high 20s or 30s. But I think that there's a chance Bama can do that.
Texas was one of the top most efficient, actually even by play, points scored by successful play analysis. They actually were better than Alabama and Georgia. For each successful play, they scored
last week.
Yeah, they scored 1.7 points. So their big playability is there, and I think they're going to need that because I think that defense isn't going to give you a lot, and you could be a lot of 3 and outs in that deep. And if you're telling me that D line can get pressure and maybe shorten a couple drives and for Alabama and get them off the spot, I'm kind of leaning Texas in the points there. I know that everyone and it's going the other way. It opened at 18.5 and quickly got hammered quickly to 20. So that tells me, I think that early movement is a lot of the sharp money too. Until the sharp money being on Bama, because the public doesn't bet early and the public doesn't move lines. So when they hung 18 and it almost instantly went to 20, someone was sitting on it.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
so
I don't know.
It's a lot of points.
It is a lot of points. What do you think about that under? Because I mean, like, here's my thoughts on this. Is like the points for a successful play. I get it, but
it's just a number. I mean, I'm not. It's like in one.
I'm just saying, like UL and Louisiana Monroe's secondary is probably not chasing down Texas's skill players, but Alabama probably is. So it's like, I don't know. I think the under is the play, but I'm also like,
yeah.
This is where like I personally try to have discipline of like, I'm gonna watch this football game, of course.
You don't want
to. But that doesn't mean I have to bet it.
You don't want to sweat.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no. It's just like I don't see a clear edge here.
Yeah, you don't have to bet every game. Exactly.
Well, I think what a lot of people do is they make the mistake of saying, "Oh, Alabama and Texas is on at noon. That's a game I really want to like. I'm gonna place a wager on it to keep it interesting for myself." When in reality, your edge might be in this trash ass Eastern Michigan game. So bet your edges and don't bet what you want to watch. You've got iPads and second screens and computers and all of that for your wager games. Just put them over there on the side. Don't let the children see the pirated Eastern Michigan feed. We don't want them to get sick in front of you.
From the dogstats.com blog.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's the thing. If you want to, if you have an inclination, I would say if you watch for a late line movement, like for me, I'm leaning Texas in the points, and if that comes back to 19.5 or 20 solid, that tells us the late money's maybe coming in on Texas or whatever. So maybe that means you're on the right side. And if you want to throw $10 on it, put some prize pick. Yeah, that would be a good game to prize pick. If you want some action in that, dig into the prize picks, because that's one of those games you're going to have a myriad of players
for sure
to choose from. In fact, can you give me a second and let's pull up and see what we want to talk
about?
Well,
I'm on Xavier Worthy. Yeah.
Okay.
Over 4 catches for Xavier Worthy is one that I'm definitely on. But
yeah,
there's a lot of other action in that game. Quinn Ewers, I'm pretty sure I saw a line for him last night. Yeah, 205.5 passing yards is your over-under for Ewers, which I think they're going to struggle to run the ball. So I think he might have 3 interceptions on Saturday, but I think he probably gets over that 205.5.
Yeah, it's 0.5 on Bijan Robinson touchdowns, total touchdowns. So
that's an interesting. That's a good. Your probability is high that he scores a touchdown.
Yeah. And you had Xavier Worthy at 69.5?
No, I got 4 catches, just 4 receptions.
4 receptions. Yeah. Okay. They got 4 receptions and only 44.5 receiving yards. So
that's nice.
Yeah. Let me see. Let's check some of the Bama ones. It's good content. PrizePicks.com, guys. Get on it.
Content,
baby. 3 touchdowns for Bryce.
See, I wouldn't do that because you'd have to basically to win. He has to throw 4.
Yeah.
That's 4 passing touchdowns. I don't hate the Jahmyr Gibbs 30.5 receiving yards. I think they throw it to him out of the backfield some.
Yeah, and he's got 120.5 total, 17. Well, I don't even the fantasy scores. I need to look at that a little more. 72.5 yards for Burton receiving yards. And 5 receptions.
Under.
You like the under there?
I like the under on yards. I think he'll have some receptions.
Yeah. All right, but I'm going to make the pick. I'll say, give me Texas in the points because I've heard everybody talking Alabama all week. I'm going to fade the talking heads.
Do you know what the narrative is going to be on Saturday night, Sunday morning, all next week if Texas keeps us to like a 14-point game?
It's the same narrative we've heard for 5 years.
Well, not around Alabama.
True. Oh, that narrative?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they care about this game. I think they want to win it, obviously.
They care about this.
I mean, they care about this game, but this game is just another game on their schedule. Like, this is not. I mean, they're going to win. They're going to get better at it.
I wouldn't go that far, man. There's a lot of intermingling that happens between Texas and Bama people. Okay, like a lot of kids from Dallas that can't get into Texas go to Alabama, and the rest of Texas, and yeah. I just think like there's a little bit of I don't know. I just think the Texas we're gonna have either Texas is back or we're gonna have like
Texas Twitter is
the Alabama is not good type deal. I honestly like I don't care who wins, but I hope whoever wins by like 30. Which means, Texas isn't. If Texas wins by 30, that would be the most hysterical result of all time. They would lose to UTSA next week. We all know it. But like, I just think, I don't want to hear it. I guess is where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, I think Texas Twitter is gonna, unless they just get completely curb stomped, then they're gonna be the same intolerable group of tweets ever. Anyways, regardless of I mean, it's like. Alabama, I mean, like, I don't know. The narrative is interesting to talk about because I mean, this game is sort of, but it doesn't mean anything to their, it's an out-of-conference game. They can still win the Big 12. That's what they're going to focus on, and they'll run their mouths about whatever they're going to run their mouths about.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
That's what we do as well.
That is what we do as well.
I love it. All right, Graham. What are you cooking this weekend? Anything fun? Smoking?
I'm going to go to Sam's Club this afternoon. I am going to get some. I'm going to get a pork shoulder for sure. I am either going to get a tomahawk bone-in ribeye or some prime fillets. Sam's Club, at least in my part of the world, you can get a 4-pack of like USDA prime fillets or strips for like $30, dude. It's a screaming deal. And there's only 2 of us, so we like that's 2 meals worth basically. $15 for 2 people to eat prime fillets and strips is a good way to live.
Boston Butts, 99 cents a pound at Kroger. Boom, let's go. Put that baby on.
I'm gonna smoke one. Yeah. I hear you.
I might actually go to the game tomorrow. So.
Oh really? Nice.
Yeah, my friend Gator Haters, aka.
What's up, John?
Yeah, John, exactly. John invited me and my son to go to the game. We're going to do it. Put on a rain jacket and go.
Is it going to rain?
I think so, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, we've done zero analysis on the Georgia game this weekend, but
yeah,
there's just not that much to say, guys.
We'll have some stuff afterwards, though. I think we're going to get.
Oh yeah, we're
going to get to see a lot of good. A lot of the players and a lot of the kids we've been hearing about in the practice notes, and
we'll have some review and all of that good stuff. But
yeah, that's right.
We're gonna, put plenty of effort into previewing South Carolina next week with film and all of that. But we could tell you that Stanford put up God knows how many yards in the swamp last year, but there's a pretty big delta between Todd Grantham's Florida defense after they quit on Mullen and what this Georgia team is trotting out. So we'll see what happens.
All right, we would keeping these people for an hour. There's no questions in the stream in the chat. Cool. Somebody asked for the promo code, which is he found it. That was
Dog Central.
Dogs
right
Central.
There on the top of the screen.
Seriously, this is a really fun way to do this, and it helps us out. Honestly, we're doing this to be a part of the community and have you guys be a part of the community with us. Okay, here we go. Curtis came in late hot,
screaming late.
300 yards for Stetson Bennett. Is that a prize pick? Let me see.
I didn't see that. Maybe they put it up today. 300 yards for Stetson Bennett. Oh, we do
Okay,
have his prize picks line is 264.5 passing yards.
Yeah. All right. So Curtis, I'm going under. I don't think he's going to be on the field long enough to get that many. It would take like an 80-yard early.
I'm going over.
Whoa. Okay.
Georgia's tired of the narrative. He's going to be SB 4K by the end of this year.
Hang it.
For 4,000 yards passing.
I got it.
Just in case somebody didn't hang the banner, dude. Print the shirts, SB 4K.
I like
we'll
it.
have them for you at the
dude,
SEC championship.
Dude, I like that a lot. Is that yours?
I just came up with it. Yes.
That's solid. See, this is why you stick around for the hour 5 into the hour and 5 minute portion of the show.
If any of you are a trademark attorney, please give me a call.
And if so, do not give me a call, as I've already had one particular interface with a trademark attorney.
All right. So one other quick thing though, while we're here, we got some other do you like Lad McConkey over under 57.5 receiving yards? What do you think?
I'm gonna go under, because I think I'm gonna go. It's like he could get that in the first quarter, but I mean I think it's kind of he's gonna have to get it in the first quarter. That's the thing. It's like
I mean they're gonna play him into the third quarter.
You think?
Yeah. Kirby's never pulled his starters before half.
Well, even then, I mean, you can change your targets and your looks and all that sort of stuff around, even if he's on the field.
Stanford is an air raid team, which means there's going to be a lot of 3 and outs where 12 seconds click off the clock. So there's going to be a lot of possessions in this game. That's my take. I got him. I like him to go over. I am going to go under on the Kenny McIntosh 98.5 combined rushing and receiving yards, just because I think they'll save those touches for next week. But that's all I got. Let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah. All right.
No,
I was actually looking at the prize.
Great television. I'm just playing. Thank you all for joining us. This has been Dog Central. Thank you, John. You were here. Now you're gone. But we enjoyed your picks and insight. Lots of good stuff. If you guys didn't see those, check it out on his Twitter at John Tweet Sports. I'm going to post my stuff on my Twitter at Dog Out West. Josh has all sorts of content over on the Dog Stats Twitter feed, and all of this is all in one place. Nice, tight, and organized at dogcentral.com. If you haven't subscribed, honestly, what are you doing? Like, seriously, I mean, it's the best value. We had more subscribers this week than we have had in any other single week since we launched the website. So thank you guys for support.
Big ups.
Joining us, finding us. We'll have 12 takeaways. We'll have all sorts of exclusive features that only you guys will see. And, practice reports, recruiting intel, lots and lots and lots going on. So come check us out. dogcentral.com/register. Josh, have fun tomorrow.
All right. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.